Because of the North American video game crash in 1983, nobody really wanted to play video games anymore, and companies weren't making money off of video games. Why do we still play video games today? Well, because some Japanese guys thought it'd be a good idea to bring their video game console over and kick ass. The Nintendo Entertainment System, or the NES for short, was released in 1985, but because of the video game crash, Nintendo didn't want to release something that looks like a video game system. So, they made it look like a VCR. Funny enough, people call this a toaster. This is not a toaster. That's a toaster. When this first came out, the only way you could get this was with Rob. I would show you what Rob looks like, but I don't have one because they're really expensive and they're garbage. They released a set with just the gun, or the light gun, or the zapper. And, well, I do have one of those. Yeah! Gun! Of course, the US government passed a law in 1987 stating that every toy gun needs to have an orange tip on it. So they released an orange one. It was completely orange. One thing that I think is awesome about this thing is it actually has AV. Composite. Oh yeah, it also has a port on the bottom. But it was never used because the disk drive, the Famicom disk drive, flopped. Yeah, we already talked about the zapper. But this is your standard controller. And this is what you call a controller. Nintendo invented the D-pad instead of a joystick, or that fucking disc on that goddamn television. The design is just classic. A lot of people say it digs into their palms because it's pointy. I don't really have that problem. Yeah, that's the controller. Let's play some games. Really? Mother piece of shit. This is the one fatal flaw with the original Nintendo. It doesn't fucking work! Remember when I said Nintendo wanted the NES to look like a VCR so it would sell better in North America? Yeah, so they made it like a VCR. You put the cartridge in, you push it down. You know what that does? Yeah, that bends the pins so your console doesn't fucking work. Now, let's play some fucking games. So, it's kind of cool how the gun works. The screen goes black, and the target that you're supposed to shoot turns white. And the gun tells you if it sends the white on the screen, and to count as a hit. It's actually pretty smart. Now, is it cool? Yeah, for about 15 seconds. But after that, it's a fucking gun! How could you not like the gun? It's so cool. Kurt Cobain! Now this is a game that actually uses the normal controller. Of course, Super Mario Bros. 3. This is also a good example of showing off how powerful or how good looking the games can be. You see, a lot of people when they think of Nintendo, they think of like the early stuff. So like Mario 1, Excite Bike, those kind of graphics games. But then you really get to the later games like Mario 3, and the graphics are kind of crazy for NES. Let's just state that Nintendo kicked the competitors' asses, as in the Master System and the 7800. Now, what was the big reason for that? Nintendo also had this policy where, hey, you're going to make games for the Nintendo, right? Well, then you can't make games for the Master System or the 7800. So, it pretty much killed any chance that the Master System or the 7800 had for third-party games. The NES was like a runaway success over here in America. Complete opposite story over in Europe. The Master System kicked ass over in Europe, and the Nintendo was left in the dust over in Europe. But this is America. The Nintendo was a flyaway success over here in North America. It single-handedly revived the gaming market. Now, what do I think of the NES? There are some really good games on the NES. And I love the NES. But the console is fucking garbage. Yes, it's classic. It is the most retro design you can have for a video game console. But it doesn't work worth a shit. Yeah, there are solutions around it, like getting an NES top loader, if you can afford one for $150 whatever dollars. There's also the Nintendo Drawer, I think that's what it's called, which are out of stock right now, but they're also like $50. And then you can get a blinking NES, a blinking Lightwind. But those are out of stock too, and I think they might even just be discontinued now that the Nintendo Drawer is out. And of course there's emulation. There's always solutions to problems like that. The stock NES console is just a piece of crap. If you get one, don't expect it to work every time. Don't even expect it to work a quarter of the time. If you can get a top loader or a Nintendo Drawer or whatever, go ahead. The Nintendo is an awesome system. But a stock toaster is just a pain in the ass.